Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to the online class. I think you all are keeping well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also fine. This is Hasina Islam, lecturer, Department of English, Tongi Government College, Gazipur. This lecture is for the students of HSC first year. Dear learners, today we are going to start a new lesson from Unit 11. Unit 11, Lesson 3. In my previous lectures, I have given you a task on Unit 11, Lesson 1 and 2. So we have finished these two lessons and I hope you all have practiced the exercises from these two lessons. So today we are going to start Unit 11, Lesson 3. First of all, you have to know this is a very nice story, and our narrator who has expressed his idea on our imaginary journey. Okay, that is, he actually, it is a fictional travel actually. So let's start. Travel can be imaginary as well. Authors would sometimes make imaginary voyages to strange places and draw pictures of people and places, manners and morals. Actually, sometimes if you some type of writers, they make fictional travels. Okay, so the story we are going to enjoy here, our storyteller, he also expresses a story which is actually a fictional travel. It is not a true travel. Okay, so Jonathan Swift, he is a very well-known writer from 1667 to 1745, and Gulliver's Travels, this is a very nice story written by Jonathan Swift, and it was published in 1726. Is an example of imaginary travel. So this book is an example of fictional travel. Swift created a fictional traveler named Lemuel Gulliver. That is, here the protagonist, the storyteller, who is a fictional character, and his name is Lemuel Gulliver, a ship doctor who visited the lands of the Lilliputians and Brobdingnags and the island of Laputa. Actually, he was the doctor, was working in a ship, and he has visited the places like Lilliput and Brobdingnags, and these were the island of Lilliput. Lilliputs. There is in a reality you will not find this type of people. This is a fictional characters. So these are all fictitious places inhabited by imaginary people. Actually, he thought that these people are visible, though it was not real. The travels here, however, carry a serious purpose. They reveal truths about human nature. So, in this story, we will find the how human nature works and how people narrowly thinks. Okay, for example, even today human life is poisoned by evils such as racism, religious extremism, bigotry, etc. Gulliver, during his visit to the land of the Lilliputs, who are humans only about 6 inches and tall, discover how strongly prejudiced the Lilliputians are about certain things and how this help nurse hatred and foment fratricidal war. Actually, these people are not very high, they are not very long in size. They are only of 6 inches, but they they are very prejudiced, and they something very evil things were going on their mind. Okay, so Gulliver, a man of average height, gets a new insight into the pettiness of human nature when he arrives at the land of Lilliputs, who are small not only in size but also in their thoughts and perceptions. Actually, though they were very small in size, they were not only small in size, they were very, evil in their mind. Actually, their purpose, their perception, their thinking, all were very evil. Okay, then we are going to start the story. Now the writer expressing the story here. One morning, about a fortnight after I had obtained my liberty, Russell, principal secretary, as this day style him, of private affairs, came to my house, attended only by one servant. Actually, one of the officials from the Lilliputians visited Gulliver's house. Okay, and he was guided by one servant. And this man, that is, he ordered his coach to wait at a distance and desired would give him an hour's audience, which I readily consented to on account of his quality and personal merits, as well as of the many good offices he had done me during my solicitations of at court. So this man come to visit him, and he wanted to say something to Gulliver, and Gulliver very willingly expressed his consent to hear this man. Okay, so I offered to lay down that he might the more conveniently reach my ear, but he chose rather to let me hold him in my hand during our conversation. Actually, Gulliver was a very he was very long, and his height was very high. That's why, and this man who is only 6 inches, so as he could say very clearly, that's why Gulliver wanted to lay down on the floor and told him to say whatever he wants to say on his ear. But this man, he said that no, you please hold me in your hand, and I will carry on the conversation. Okay, so Gulliver do that. He hold this man on his hand, and they started talking. He began with complaints on my liberty, said he might pretend to some merit in it, but however added that if it had not been for the present situation of things at court, perhaps I might not have obtained it so soon. Actually, he said that it was not so easy to set him free, Gulliver free, and this person said that it was not so easy. For said he, as flourishing a condition as we appear to be into, foreigners, we labor under two mighty evils, a violent faction at home and the danger of an invasion by a most potent enemy from abroad. Actually, they were very worried about the enemies around their land and also inside their land. Okay, as to the first, you are to understand that for above 70 months past there have been two straggling parties in the empire. Then he told that there were two parties, though were straggling for for a long time. Okay, there were two political parties there. So under the name of Chamaxon and Slamaxon, from the high and low heels on their shoes, and these two parties were discriminated. They were differentiated by their shoes they put on. Okay, on one group put on high heels and another put on low heels. Okay, so these were the differences between these two parties, so by which they distinguish themselves. In this way they are differentiated and they are distinguished with their shoes. Okay, so then it is alleged indeed that the high heels are most agreeable to our ancient constitutions, and he said that the high heels, though they are obedient to their ancient constitution, but however this be, his majesty hath determined to make use of only low heels in the administration of the government, and all office in the gift of the crown, as you cannot put observe, and particularly that his majesty's imperial heels are lower at least by a juror than any of his court. Actually, there the royal court, they were also in, they could not manage the balance. Actually, that's why he put a high heel and a low heel, and that's why he found difficulties to walk. Okay, so actually all these are presented to show the evil side of human being. Okay, so the animosities between these two parties run so high that they will neither eat nor drink nor talk with each other. So these two parties are so revengeful. They are so angry with each other. They were not even talk to each other. Okay, so he computes the Chamexon or high heels to exceed us in number. Put the power is wholly on our side. Actually, their intention was to gain power, and they wanted to capture Gulliver to use his power. Okay, we approached his imperial highness, the heir to the crown, to have some tendency towards the high heels. At least we can plainly discover one of his heels higher than the other. Here he said this, that he could not manage to balance. He could not balance among them. That is, he was wearing high heel in one foot and a low heel in another foot. That's why he found difficulties to walk. Okay, this is the imbalance or the situation that was going on, or the political problem those were going on in that country. Okay, then other which gives him a hobble in his gait. Now in the midst of this intestine discords, we are threatened now with an invasion from the island of Blefuscu, which is the other great empire of the universe, almost as large and powerful as this of his majesty. Actually, another empire called Blefuscu, it was very vast and powerful, and they wanted to capture this empire with the help of Gulliver. Okay, for as to what we have heard you affirm, that there are other kingdoms and states in the world inhabited by human creatures as large as yourself. And he also expressed that I think there are another countries from where you came, and people are so large as you. Okay, but our philosophers are in much doubt and would rather conjecture that you dropped from the moon on of the stars, or one of the stars. But their philosophers, the Lilliputian philosophers, thought that Gulliver, he is so high, he is so tall, he is not a person from this world. He came from moon or any of the stars. Okay. So this is the the partial part of this lesson. In my next lecture, I will try to finish this lesson. And now I am going to give you some important words, and I have given the meaning of this words. You have to know the words, you have to know the synonyms and antonyms. Several times I told you to practice in this way. So I have given some words here. Actually here, imaginary, then inhabit, foment, obtain, and complement. So I have given the meaning also. Okay. So of course you have to memorize this, and you will try to read the whole book, the whole passage very carefully. There are so many unknown words here. Okay, you have to find out the unknown words, you have to find out the meaning and also the synonyms and antonyms. Okay, now I'm going to give you some homework for you. These are the questions I have given you to complete, and of course you will do the homework, I think. And first of all, who comes to visit Gulliver's house? When did Russell came to the narrator's house? What are the differences between Pen and Slamstone? Okay, so these are the questions, very easy questions you have to answer. Dear students, I think of course you will practice at home. Otherwise, it will not be possible for you to finish the whole syllabus. Okay, and so thank you, have a nice day, and I think of course you will enjoy my another lecture on this lesson. Okay, till then, Allah.